Jesus and the war, the legions in our hearts, shed waters in our balls. The spirit and the flesh, the emotions that arrest. The cerebral will contest, propelling the unrest. Preachers and bandits with means underhanded. The teachers pedantic and lack understanding. So sweep out the sand with the broom in your hand. Stand up, make we burn Babylon. Guess I can give the world to you, the world to you. But the falling of the curtain is for certain. Be careful where you're lurking, demons searching. The spirit and the women fight the battle within. Guess I can give the world to you, the world to you. But the falling of the curtain is for certain. Be careful where you're lurking, demons searching. The spirit and the women fight the battle within. With the semblance of a blaze, with gratitude and rage, we touch another page with delirious delight, impervious to light. This vitality and might encourages the flight. Preachers and bandits with means underhanded, the teachers pedantic and lack understanding. So sweep out the sand with the broom in your hand. Stand up, make we burn Babylon. Guess I can give the world to you, the world to you. But the falling of the curtain is for certain. Be careful where you're lurking, demons searching. The spirit and the women fight the battle within. Guess I can give the world to you, the world to you. But the falling of the curtain is for certain. Be careful where you're lurking, demons searching. The spirit and the women fight the battle within. The world to you, but the falling of the curtain is for certain. Be careful where you're lurking, demons searching. The spirit and the women fight the battle within. Guess I can give the world to you, the world to you. But the falling of the curtain is for certain. Be careful where you're lurking, demons searching. The spirit and the women fight the battle within. In the den of iniquity, vicinity no pretty, calamity fi hit we any moment, what a pity. Tomorrow never certain, what dwells behind the curtain? The face of evil smirking, with that shifty eyes averting. It's not a steady bubble, that either pop or topple. Many will fall and stumble, let the dozers gather rubble. From LA to Colorado, Guinea to Burkina Faso, cannon could reach the towers and the troops will storm the castle. Hey, I say, run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. So run, run, come, make we get it. Calling all your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. I say, run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. Lord, run, run, come, make we get it. Calling all your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. With the rubble steady rising and hearts are compromising, conditions here are stifling, making evil appetizing. The fists are steady forming and countenance is falling. Defenses are withdrawing, possibilities are falling. In these your circumstances, evil will make advances. Pick up your sword and lances and be sure to take your stances. Victory is never promised, the battle is upon us. Gather the brave and honest and the righteous in your corners. Go. Run, 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 make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. So run, run, come, make we get it. Calling out your daughters and your sons, we can't forget it. I say, run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. Lord, run, come, come, make we get it. Calling out your daughters and your sons, we can't forget it. Because the peace peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. So run, run, come, make we get it. Calling out your daughters and your sons, we come fi get it. I say, run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. Lord, run, come, come, make we get it. Calling out your daughters and your sons, we come fi get it. Run for the hills, let the will lead the mind. For living is the thrill with the doubt left behind. Amidst all the wicked, there is beauty to behold. Be fearless and intrepid from the depths of our soul. The hands of the steady cleave the rose from the bone. The sweat of the weary brings us glow to the dawn. The motion of the wheel brings the light to the mind. In the align, it's divine. Run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. So run, run, come, make we get it. Calling on your daughters and your sons, they come we get it. I say, run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. Lord, run, come, come, make we get it. Calling on your daughters and your sons, they come we get it. Run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. So run, run, come, make we get it. Calling out your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. Run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. Lord, run, come, make we get it. Calling out your daughters and your sons, we come forget it.
I travel by night and I travel by day. I feel the breeze, I feel the call, and I see the gravel and the grass by the way. I hear birds and they're mating call. The toll on the road is a small price to pay, small price to pay for the saving of the race. And so I say, aye. People, what you waiting for? Take one and leave one and take it to go. Make a decision and get on the road. Open your vision for the sun to shine on. Bamboo and acorn and a letter I wrote. Big ones and small ones and a pipe for a toe. The rhythms of time is the horse I ride on. I travel by night and I travel by day. Feel the breeze, I feel the call, and I see the gravel and the grass by the way. I hear birds and they're mating call. The toll on the road is a small price to pay, small price to pay for the saving of the race. And so I say, aye. People, what you waiting for? Will there be raindrops and rainbows so clear? Perhaps some snow angels, maybe a bear. Anticipation in the heart casts a fog upon the road. How far till the train stop? I wish I was there. I glance at the paper just to be clear. All the coming and the going that will be once was foretold. I travel by night and I travel by day. Feel the breeze, I feel the call, and I see the gravel and the grass by the way. I hear birds and they're mating call. The toll on the road is a small price to pay, a small price to pay for the saving of the race. And so I say, aye. People, what you waiting for? Sha-na-na-na-no, sha-na-na-na-ne, sha-na-na-na-no, sha-na-na-na-ne, sha-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-no, sha-na-na-na-no, sha-na-na-na-ne, sha-na-na-na-no, sha-na-na-na-ne, sha-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-na-no. I travel by night and I travel by day. Feel the breeze, I feel the call, and I see the gravel and the grass by the way. I hear birds and they're mating call. The toll on the road is a small price to pay, a small price to pay for the saving of the race. And so I say, aye, 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 aye. People, what you waiting for? Know thyself. Find your inner peace. Find your center. Find your core. Be grounded. Live for the moment. Be free from external disturbances. We have all heard these before. We've all heard these before. What do these statements have in common, ladies and gentlemen? What do they have in common? We know that these statements resonate with us. We know that they point towards an inner direction. We also know that this is a direction that we would like to go towards. However, we also know that this is a direction that, left to our own devices, we avoid. Yes, we know the platitudes. We know the words. Know thyself, find inner peace, be grounded, be centered. Even perhaps the title of this very stream, live from the inside out. Perhaps someone has said that before. We like the way it sounds. However, what stops us? What stops us from going in that direction? And what would going in that direction look like in terms of the external world? Welcome, 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 ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to my channel. My name is Acclimate. I am your host. And over here, we talk about being better and doing better with a strong emphasis on doing. Yes, doing. And we keep things simple, measurable, actionable, intuitive. Ladies and gentlemen, simple, measurable, actionable, intuitive. Shout out to Soul Provider Speak. Shout out to Eisen in the house. Shout out to Rocky N. It's okay to be happy. Black Curls. Nicer. Hey. How's everyone doing? How is everyone doing this evening? You all right? You guys doing over there? You guys doing well over there, Soul Provider Speaks in Texas? Exactly. Black curls, exactly. Talked a little bit about it. However, if you listen to my content, you know that the entirety of my harping upon mastery of subjective consciousness. Who's heard me say that before? Huh? Should be a catchphrase. Has to make t-shirts or something. Let me get a 1 in the chat if you've ever heard me say mastery of subjective consciousness before. The entirety of the meditation, the mastering of the feeling in the body, image in the head, talk in the head, the entirety of that whole thing is about living from the inside out. We did a whole series about this, and we'll continue to make videos about it. But I did not title this one as being one of my meditation videos, because we're going to do a little bit of meandering here, ladies and gentlemen. I am doing very well. I am doing very well. Okay? I'm in a bow tie kind of mood. That is a good mood to be in. It's a bow tie and shirt studs kind of mood, ladies and gentlemen. So, social media personality Swift. In our meditation series, the How to Meditate series and the Why to Meditate series, we talk about developing concentration, sensory clarity, equanimity in order to master our subjective consciousness. What is our subjective consciousness? Oh yeah, for the 10,000th time, you guys who know. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, like, subscribe, hit the bell button, and all. Your subjective consciousness can be broken down into feeling in the body, image in the head, and talk in the head. Whatever you are experiencing right now, your experiential interface, whether yesterday, tomorrow, 10,000 years from now, in case we crack that technological hack and we can live for 10,000 years, no matter what it is, you're going to experience this world as feelings in the body, not feelings in the parking lot, not feelings in the sky, but feelings in the body. Some of which we call emotions, but they're just a conglomeration, a combination of internal sensations, right? You feel butterflies, a pit in the stomach. Someone ripped your heart out. You feel it in the chest, blood pressure. Heart rate goes up, temperature increases. These are all just feelings in the body. And then you have images in the head and talk in the head. Someone pissed you off. All right? You feel insulted. Now you're playing images of why you have been insulted and how dare he. And you see the person's face and you're like, argh, and then you feel these things and then it causes you to do other things which reinforce the whole process. But basically, in our whole series of why we should meditate, we look inward and we say, we would like to master this process. We would like to master this chaos. We would like to create the observer. We would like to be able to watch it using concentration, sensory clarity, and equanimity. In the How to Meditate series, which for those of you whom have not gone through it, go to the playlist. Breathing exercises, using external sounds, using the emotions. How to focus, how to get in the zone. We have approached all of this from the internal perspective, haven't we? We've talked about, well, this seems like it's a good thing to do. This seems like it's a good thing to do. Seems like it would be nice to have peace of mind, okay? But how about from the external perspective? Because this is what gives us the hang-up. It is my hypothesis that we don't do this stuff because of a reason. We do not live from the inside out because of reasons, ladies and gentlemen. We avoid moving inward and building our foundation on solid rock. We know. We have a sense that from this rock we can leverage the outside world. Let me get a 1 in the chat if this makes sense. Part of the reason why that whole meditation thing is appealing is not just because you want inner peace, but be honest. Eisen, be honest. It's because, okay, and listen to me, young Swift, part of the reason is because we have an idea that from this inner place, we can gather some strength to leverage the outer world. We know that it is powerful. Let me get a one in the chat. Let me get an amen in the crowd. We know that it is powerful. That is part of the reason why it sounds appealing. I'm not talking about whether you've gone on your journey of self-mastery yet, how often you meditate, how good you are with your concentration, sensory clarity, and equanimity. But part of the reason why it sounds appealing, be honest now, is because we have a sense that when we find this inner rock within and we build our house upon that rock, we can from that point leverage outcomes in the external world. Right? We know that the outer world is full of sinking sand and shifting sands. The accolades of others, the temporary success, circumstances, opinions, and so on and so forth. We understand fully well that those are fleeting and not a good place to lay our foundation. But why do we avoid, okay, why is it still hard to go inside? Even though the words sound appealing, even though we know that it'll give us inner peace, even though also we secretly know that why it's appealing is because we want the power that comes along with it. But still, we avoid it. So let's go and explore this thing from a conceptual standpoint, asking the question, why do we avoid it? And how does living from the outside get us better external results? How does living from the inside rather, okay, how does living from the inside out get us better external results? So, let's go ahead and share a PowerPoint. Why don't we? Didn't get a chance to check the audio today, so is the microphone cool? Is it sounding too loud? Should I go ahead and reduce the volume, so on and so forth? How are we sounding today, ladies and gentlemen? Shout out to Vanna Perry in the house. How's the microphone sounding? Mic is good, says social media personality Young Swift. It is perfect. Thank you very much. So, again, we have heard these things about finding your inner core, living from the inside out, staying in the moment, okay? It sounds great, but we don't, okay? We don't like those kinds of things that sound good on this channel. Young Swift, you know what I mean, right? Sounds good is an excuse to stop and die. Young Swift, tell them how we don't like stuff that sounds good. We don't like the kind of thing where you say, oh, you know, you need to be kind to yourself and you need to treat yourself. What does it mean? What am I going to do? What kinds of actions am I going to take? How am I going to make it actionable? What am I actually going to do so I don't just rest there, lay on the side of the road like a fat oaf? Yes. We keep things practical, actionable, measurable here. This is not a place to kumbaya around and not get results. No. When we talk about mastery of subjective consciousness, we're talking about developing the capacities of concentration, sensory clarity, and equanimity. You only develop these things just like you develop anything else. In other words, you have to put it into use. Develop your biceps by doing formal practice. Develop concentration by using concentration formally. We have a whole video series on it. And we'll continue to make those. So we understand that when people say, hey, live from the inside out and all that stuff, and it feels good, you should immediately stop yourself and say, hey, I'm not going to buy into this sweet pill of sweet feelings and guitar and lute playing and wearing beads. I'm going to ask myself, Why have I not taken the journey within? Why do I not live from the inside out? How should I make this actionable? Definitely, first thing you need to do is go listen to the meditation videos or do your meditative practice. But also today, we're going to talk about it. We're going to conceptualize the reasons why so that you no longer have any excuses. The reasons why you do not go within, and also why or how this gives you external results. Because believe it or not, we all want power. Life is the will to power. We all want power. Don't lie to yourself. Life is the will to power. If you think power is a good thing, you're thinking from the dark side of your heart. Can I get a 1 in the chat if that makes sense? If you think power, is a bad thing. If you think power is a bad thing. If when I say, hey, we all want power, you feel, Shozan. When I say, hey, we all want power, black girls. If I say, hey, we all want power, and you feel that little like, that's just the dark side thinking. That's just the dark side feeling. Can I get a 1 in the chat if that makes sense? That's just you looking at the negative. That's your bad. But we are all human beings. We all know what I mean. Okay? We all know what I mean. I didn't say what you're going to use the power for. You need it. You want it. Life is about growth, competition, accretion, the will to power. Whether you're a tree or a slug or a human being, you need to expand. You need to grow. You need to expand and grow in power. Expand and grow in mastery. Expand and grow in capacity. You owe it to yourself. And the whole, it's negative, it's just another excuse. Just another excuse for you not to do the things that you know you should do. Because you know you're far away from living your perfect life. Okay, let's go ahead. Enough of that hitting ourselves over the head with sticks. Let's go ahead, ladies and gentlemen, and let's look at this. Let's look at this. Meanwhile, let's see what's going on over here. Rocky's PC needs more power. Yes, young Swift, it's the same kind of excuse. Money is hard to get because it represents a means of value exchange. In order to elevate your value, you need to practice. You want to be a better carpenter, demand more money, and have that perfect dovetail connection. Okay, you need to practice making dovetail connections and using all your implements very well. It is easier to say, but money won't make me happy, and then go back to sleep. Okay? But we're not fooled by such binary things. Like, we're smarter than that. We understand. We're wise over here. We're not going to be fooled by, put your shovels away, put your tools away, put your power away, and let it all amass into the hands of others. No. And remember, we're trying to live from the inside out. But I know that we all have external goals. And part of the reason why living from the inside out is appealing is because we know that from this source, from that rock, from that fulcrum, we can move the world. So let's talk about it. The hypothesis is clear. Over here, we always talk about mastery of subjective consciousness. We have a whole bunch of videos on it, whether it be videos on sales, persuasion, and so on and so forth, or it be videos particularly on meditation. I always talk about how you do it from within, because from within is the most practical. I say, hey, young Swift, you got an interview? You need to be the most comfortable person in that room. I didn't say, hey, this is what you say, this is how you sit. I say, you make your being the most comfortable in that room. And I tell you how to do it. I say, go in there beforehand, acclimate your senses to the room. look at the room, sit in different positions in the room, touch the room, smell the room, listen to the sounds in the room. Make the room yours. When you are the most comfortable person in the room, people are more amenable to be persuaded by you. People are relaxed because you are relaxed, and you can then leverage external results. You can leverage external results by you being internally comfortable. Can I get a 1 in the chat if this very simple example of how we leverage external results by what you can all intuitively imagine? By the fact that when you are the most comfortable person in that boardroom, in that meeting room, in that interview, wherever it may be, that you being internally comfortable, it doesn't have anything to do with you, the gymnastics or the words that you say. No, that's secondary. But you literally from the inside, being the most comfortable, equanimous, relaxed, makes you more concentrated, makes you more influential. Simple. This we understand. This is the inkling of the power that we know we have within, but why don't we do it? Okay. Now, perhaps it has something to do with number 1. It is difficult to see the immediate external results. I just gave you a scenario where it was at least easy to see. And that is why I made that video a long time ago, one of my bicycle ride videos, right? Where I talk about, hey, you need to be the most comfortable person in the room. And this is how you do it. I give it very systematic, step-by-step thing, which I always do whenever I'm doing a performance. I always do when I'm giving a sales pitch or whatever. I even do it when I walk into a grocery store. Hell, I'm doing it right now. Which is, I am constantly consuming all the senses in the room, making sure that I am one with them, that I am grounded. There is no perturbation, no irregularities. Now, it is difficult to see the immediate external results, though. Someone says, hey, you need to live, you need to enjoy the moment, and so on and so forth. And we know that we're secretly motivated to have power, and that if this thing does not immediately give me power, how or why should I do it? In other words, we find it difficult to delay gratification. Can I get a 1 in the chat if the logic follows? We already know that we find it difficult to delay gratification. Hence, if we cannot immediately see the external ramifications, the external results of living from the inside out, we're going to be less likely to do it. Right? We are going to be less likely to do it because we cannot immediately see the external results. It is that simple. At least for reason number 1. And it is difficult to see because if I say, hey, take this pen and put a mark on the paper, you immediately see the mark. But when I say, hey, if you are a better person, you're going to attract better people relationship-wise. Somewhere in our intuition, it makes sense. Black curls, sole provider speaks. Somewhere in your intuition, you know that you are what you attract. We attract what we are. Somewhere we know, but we don't really see it. We cannot immediately see it, and we do not know how it works. Hence, we don't have the impetus, the reason, the motivation to go down the line of practicing this stuff. But trust me, when you start practicing it, you're going to be more abreast, or shall I say more aware, in a rather explicit and clear way of the consequences more directly. The reason I'm able to give you that example of being the most comfortable person in the room is because I do it in many, many different ways. And I see the results, not just in that particular room, The room context is just a simple example to help you understand that when you have that inner thing, when you master your subjective consciousness, everything else flows from it. That room one is just a simple example. But there's so many complex, convoluted paths that this thing takes. Exactly. Rocky N. Takes time to see external results, hence we don't do certain things that we need to do. Even for something like working out, as a matter of fact, it's quite similar to working out, because working out is not like taking up that pencil again and writing. It has a mechanism of its own. Hence, we're like, I gotta trust the process, in other words. And we don't like trusting the process because we're impatient and we are little children, aren't we? Yes. Remember, this is not a place where we come over to feel good. No, that's useless. That's a waste of our time. This is a place where we come to make things measurable, actionable, simple, intuitive, so that we can do. So that we can do. And we can get results. There's too many places already where people rub each other's backs, make themselves feel good while being inactive and being unwise, not understanding the mechanisms of their own internal blocks. No. Too much of that already. Way too much of that already. So, basically, the physical health results, for example, if I tell you, hey, like if you go to our breathing exercise video on the how to meditate, you know that if you do the simple breathing exercise of breathe in 1, 2, 3, hold 1, 2, 3, and exhale 1, 2, 3. Let's do that 3 times, okay? Breathe in, hold, and let it come out. Number 1. Number 2, breathe in as deep as you can. Hold and let it come out. Feel those shoulders coming down. Feel the chest coming down. Feel the diaphragm relaxing. Number 3, hold and let it come out. Do you feel the increase in concentration? Do you feel the increase in relaxation? Do you feel the increase in sensations? Let me get responses in the chat, ladies and gentlemen. Again, we like to keep things actionable here. This is not a place for exactly, right? Do you feel the increase in concentration, relaxation, and the increase in your ability to sense your body? Yes or no? Doing this simple breathing exercise is a simple access point by which we can get to the complex of feelings in the body, image in the head, and talk in the head, to the developing of concentration, sensory clarity, and equanimity. But we know also that this reduces your blood pressure, reduces the cortisol in your blood, reduces the stress in your body. You will literally live longer. You're on the road to dying early if you don't master your subjective consciousness. This is not a joke. It is not a game. People constantly talking about, oh, in the West, we are not healthy. Well, no, you are not healthy. You are not healthy. Not anyone else's fault. It's you that doesn't breathe. It's you that doesn't master yourself. It's you that doesn't relax. It's you that doesn't hydrate. It's you. So, the external results of you literally living longer, the external results of reduced blood pressure, so on and so on and so on, you can't see right in front of you, and hence you don't do it. But it is okay, because this kind of unconsciousness is natural. It is natural enough that we understand it. There are financial results for this, okay? And we'll get into it in a little bit. But it's hard to see. That one is even harder to see. Even as I demonstrated to you with that simple breathing thing that we did, all we did was 3 breaths. Imagine if this was a constant practice that you did all day. Imagine, young Swift. Imagine, Tivana, Bijou Noir, everyone, if you did this all the time. Imagine if you had so many techniques. I just showed you a breathing one, and I have videos on many others. Imagine if you were constantly using your ears as a way of relaxing yourself, using your eyes as a way of relaxing yourself, using your feelings, emotions as a way of relaxing, increasing concentration, increasing equanimity, creating that distance between feeling in the body, image in the head, and talk in the head, and the person that observes the feeling in the body, image in the head, and talk in the head, getting out of your feelings, getting out of your head. Imagine if you always did that. It's not just going to be physical ramifications, ladies and gentlemen. I already told you how in that room you were able to get people to bend to your will. We're just approaching the whys right now. We talk about relationship results, for example, you are who you attract. That room where you made people comfortable, right? That room where you made people comfortable, that is, as a matter of fact, a social interaction situation, isn't it? It is clear already to see. You attract what you are. There is conflict resolution aspect to it, okay? Let me go back here and take it more step by step. Bam, 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 bam. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you very much with the heavy-handed $100 super chat. And you say thank you for the insightful perspective. I say thank you for, that's even pounds, the pound sterling. Well, I'm more than just $100, ladies and gentlemen. That's John Crossdale from across the pond. Sebastian Ritchie in the house with the Canadian dollars. How you doing, sir? Our resident attorney in the house. Thank you very much. Yes, Shozan, the Tai Chi methods and so on and so forth. And in those videos that I make and will continue to make, I simply break it down to ways in which, or ways that are accessible to us with our everyday language. If I say concentration, it does not confuse anybody. If I say that you need to use a capacity in order to develop it, it does not confuse anybody. If I say, well, mastery of your subjective consciousness involves using concentration and relaxation, in the space of your subjective consciousness, and that using it formally, just like picking up dumbbells and doing curls, it does not confuse anybody. So you know that you don't have any excuses. Not everybody can become Usain Bolt, but everybody can run. Shozan in the house. Thank you very much. What are you saying? See the $5 super chat. What Ike and my Tai Chi teacher have in common? Teach about the evils of neck tension. It ruins punches and causes headaches. Yes. So when you take that deep breath, you hold it, you feel the barrel up, and then you let it just come out of its own accord. Let the atmospheric pressure push the air out like a balloon that's loose. You feel the relaxation of the shoulders, the dropping of the chest, dropping of the diaphragm. And you increase your ability to sense what's going on in your body. To sound a little bit like a hippie, you are actually healing yourself, quite literally, in ways in which we can get into very simply. Bam! Bijou Noir in the house. Thank you very much. A black man being brutally honest. Thank you for showing up. So, we were saying that it is difficult to see the external results. And I use that room in which you made yourself comfortable and you were relaxed. Or you can compare a situation whereby you're out there watching a performer, a stand-up comedian of some sort, let's say, or any other kind of performer or speech giver, and he is uncomfortable. He, from within, is not demonstrating mastery. He feels uncomfortable from within, and you can sense it, you can feel it. You are not uncomfortable, and you will not be persuaded by him. You will not fall into his hypnotic well. These are instances where we can clearly see the relation between living from the inside out and the direct external results. But again, we're exploring why people don't live from the inside, even though we know that our goal is for power. What this exposes, okay? Eisen, you know what I'm exposing here? I'm exposing that all people really want is power. And I'm being provocative with that, especially the people who don't do it. The people who are not doing this are not doing it because they cannot see the immediate power. Can I get a 1 in the chat if this makes sense? And we got to be honest with ourselves. It can't be BSing anymore. We're not babies. We're grown people. We can be honest. We're all human beings. I mean you and me. We don't do things because we cannot see the immediate external results, because it is in our nature not to be able to delay gratification, not to sacrifice. And people want power. That's why they don't do these things. Even though they go and they talk about, yeah, I want to find my inner peace and I want to. They don't do it because they can't see the immediate power. That's why they don't do it. Is it supposed to be easy? No, it's not supposed to be easy. But you get what you get. This is the law of the universe. You get what you get. And you cannot blame anyone else. No, it is you. It is too close to you for you to be able to see the results. Do you ever have that situation where, maybe you grew up with someone and you have been changing internally for the past 10 years where you guys separated, okay? Or it could be even an external thing that you were doing. You started working out. You started standing with your back straight. You started gaining more confidence. You did not actually notice this in yourself, but when somebody sees you, okay? You know what I'm saying, Eisen? When they haven't seen you in a long time and then they see you again, they go like, wow, you've really changed. Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen? We cannot really see the changes that are internal because they're too close to us. That is part of the reason why living from the inside out, working in the internal potential is not very appealing, because we do not see the immediate power. It is too close. We're not a couple of steps removed. We cannot see it. But it is fine. Because in this channel, we keep things simple, measurable, actionable, intuitive. We actually want to do things. We actually want to change the world. We want to change the world by changing ourselves. We're not interested in platitudes and cliches and talking. No. No. The fact that these things are very close to us make it difficult for us to see. Again, the overarching thing is we do not see immediate external results, and we are motivated by external results, aren't we? Because we're being honest right now. We're motivated by external results and external power. And we don't see that quite clearly, hence, it is not a bad thing to be motivated by external results. If you're not motivated by external results, you're not going to survive very long. If you don't run when you see that lion, you're not going to survive very long. If you don't plant in the right season, you're not going to survive very long. If you don't act in the way that is socially acceptable, you're going to be kicked out of the tribe. You're not going to survive very long. The point is, this is not something about being good or bad. This is something about the way the world is and how to rise above it. You are what you are for reasons, valid reasons. But this is about rising above that. We don't just stay there. No, you don't just say, well, external things are good, social things are good. I react to the social things because I survived that way. Therefore, I'm just going to be moved by the wind. No. Not at all. Not at all. So they're too close to you. People can tell you have changed. And sorry for the kind of like the PPL for people and the U rather than YOU. I was having a good time while I was writing it, and then I forgot to switch it from text talk to other talk. I was texting it in my phone, sending myself the email. Right? And the other thing that makes it difficult for us to see is because it is literally the building up of potential energy. Young Swift, you understand what I mean when I say potential energy and why it is difficult to see? And D, yes, you did change. However, what you're saying is also true. You started to get in touch with the inside, more comfortable with the inside. You started to look less like the person who was frightened on stage and look more like the person who is comfortable with themselves on stage. Hence, they could see and notice, as you put it, you. But you made the change from the inside by noticing yourself. When you notice yourself by paying attention to the feelings in the body, the image in the head, and the talk in the head, and you're no longer swayed by it, but you're more of the observer of it. You are more of the measurer of the weather pattern. You are now more like that person who is on stage and not sweating and shaking and uncomfortable. You are living from the inside out. By noticing yourself, others notice you. Perhaps this manner of explanation is a bit convoluted and requires a certain kind of imagination. But basically, when you build potential, you don't see it, okay? Because it is potential until it gets put into action, until it becomes, to use this simple kind of mechanical energy reference, until it becomes kinetic energy and starts moving things. You cannot tell that you, by mastering yourself, you, by becoming comfortable with yourself, you, by creating that observer effect, by developing concentration, sensory clarity, and equanimity, and practicing it within the space of feeling in your body, image in your head, and talk in your head. By mastering your subjective consciousness, you are building potential with which you can move things, but you don't necessarily see it immediately. You don't necessarily see it immediately. The painting move, right? The Karate Kid, he didn't quite know what he was doing. He was just creating that muscle memory in his hand about how to do these kinds of moves, right? This particular talk, that's why it's not a how you should meditate or why you should meditate talk. It's a little bit more conceptual. It's a little bit more convoluted. It's a little, it is what it is. But if we remember the reason why we're having this is we're trying to say, hey, why do you not live from the inside out, even though you like to hear things like find your center and find your inner peace and live from your inner core and whatever else kind of nonsense people like to repeat to themselves? Why don't they do it? Well, they don't do it because they cannot see the immediate results, because they're all motivated by power. Fine. But the point is, in conjunction with seeing the fact that that breathing exercise actually makes you more relaxed, more calm, and intrinsically, intuitively, internally, you like that feeling. You also can tell and can sense that it reduces your blood pressure, your cortisol, so on and so forth. And perhaps you can start to begin to see the external aspects too of how it makes you able to relax other people and therefore influence them. Therefore, being more able to bend the world to your will. That in conjunction with doing the practice, this is some kind of mental, cognitive motivation for you to do the practice. It is difficult to see the connection between the action and the result. I always say that everything that I talk about in this channel stems from when I tell you how to be the most comfortable person in the room. The way I did that was because I do mastery of subjective consciousness stuff. I observe the effects on stage, in an interview, in a sales pitch. I systematize it. I know why it works. I know that literally by making myself comfortable with the room, the colors in the room, the sounds in the room, the feeling of the chair, the perception of where the light is coming from, I literally acclimate my being, the organism, the very animal itself, to the room. I will become more comfortable with it, thereby transmitting that comfort to the room. I know that's how it works because I actually do the practice. But that line of causation I just drew is not very easy to see. Does that make sense? Can I get a 1 in the chat if you understood what I just said? That it is not easy to see these lines of causation between what you do internally and how it affects the external world. First of all, we say that we don't see the external effects, but also if I ask you to explain the external effects, it's also hard to explain. Okay? Now, what we do in this channel is slowly, surely, in simple, measurable, actionable, intuitive, and understandable language, begin to unpack it, all of it, all of it, all of it. There shall be no secrets anymore. So, how does being generous, result in financial success? It's hard to see because it's an internal thing that being generous does for you. It's not like, oh, being generous and then I simply just get the reward right back from the person. How does it work? I don't get it. And we don't do the BS of the law of attraction, man. Get the hell out of here with that bullshit. It is understandable. It is not some mysterious woo-woo nonsense. That is just another reason for people not to do things. Another reason for people to shut their minds. Another reason for people to remain stupid. I'm not going to say it's some kind of conspiracy. I'm not going to say anyone is keeping you stupid or anything. But you should know, you should smell bullshit from a mile away and run away from it. Whenever people start doing things just to make themselves feel good, saying things just to make themselves feel good, without actually understanding, how do I put this into practice? What is the mechanism? Why am I not doing it? That's bullshit. Get the hell away from it as fast as you can. You put it out into the universe, and the universe will... That doesn't lead anyone to do anything. It doesn't. You just talk. There's an actual mechanism. Thing is, once you understand the mechanism, you no longer have excuses. Once you understand why you were able to influence the people in that room because you were actually comfortable, you no longer have any excuses for why you should not live from the inside out. Once you understand that when you take time out of the equation and you live for the moment, time actually speeds up for you and you actually get things done quicker and you get further than you thought you would, you no longer have any excuses why you don't practice the difficult work of mastery of subjective consciousness. Everything else is an excuse stopping you from doing it and getting you into buying books and going to seminars, and listening to Deepak Chopra's crazy ass. No shade to him. He says a lot of truth, about 99.9% truth. It's that 1% nonsense, or 0.0, or no. It's that 0.1% nonsense that really, really, really is the problem. That language game, that not giving people agency and action and helping them understand exactly what's going on with them psychologically and how they're putting blocks in front of themselves and how you can simply remove these blocks using simple language such as concentration, using simple language such as sensory clarity, using simple language such as your body, feelings in your body, image in your head, talk in your head, using exotic nonsense about the universe and it makes you feel good. At least a certain kind of person feels good listening to that. But what does it do for you? Nothing. It is difficult to see how mastery will make you more influential, even though I just described it. How does being better attract better relationships? It is not easy to see the steps from 1 to 20. These are the reasons, remember, these are the reasons why we don't do it. We're breaking down all the reasons why we don't do these things. We're not going to leave ourselves any hiding spots. These are the reasons why. Because we're motivated by external power. Fine. The animal would not survive if it was not that way. But we're a little bit more than just pigs, right? A little bit more than just rodents, right? So, we need to understand our motivations and understand how our motivations block us from going further. We're motivated by external power. We cannot see the immediate results from living from within, even though it sounds good. But when you know it helps you on the journey to do the actual exercise. The exercises, by the way, you can find in the meditation series. So, ladies and gentlemen, how are we all doing today? Exactly. No victim mentality. That y'all already know. Y'all already know how we roll over here. Y'all already know how we roll over here. We don't waste people's time because life is serious and life is short. It really is quite serious. You know how those books of mythology, you know how things are written down in the Bible, how serious it sounds. Yeah. It is you, it is me. It is not, oh, that was just for Moses. Oh, that was just for, Elisha and King David. No, it is for you and for me, young Swift. For you and for me, Eisen. It is for you and for me. It's not just Abraham and Moses. This thing is goddamn serious. Hence, the kumbaya nonsense of wasting people's time, putting them in little comfortable bubble wraps, feeding them with Zoloft and Paxil and Coca-Cola and all that other bullshit has to stop. No. So, having said that, let's talk a little bit about this. There is a difference between management and leadership. Before I go into the difference and how it bears upon this particular topic, can I get a one in the chat if we at least can intuit the difference between a manager and a leader? Any thoughts on what would make a manager different from a leader? Warm water with lemon, ladies and gentlemen. Good stuff. And how does this manager versus leader dichotomy play upon this thing that we're talking about, inside versus outside? We don't want to manage ourselves. We do not want to manage ourselves. We want to lead ourselves. We want to lead ourselves, okay? So let's break it down a little bit further, okay? Let's kind of granularize this thing, shake it apart, look at it from the top, from the side, from the bottom, all over, okay? You want to lead yourself. Remember when I say that you want to create the observer? You want to create the observer effect, right? We want to create the observer effect by mastering our subjective consciousness. What are we, Eisen? What are we, Young Swift? What are we, D, in terms of our experience, in terms of our user interface, in terms of our inside-out experience? We are feelings in the body, image in the head, and talk in the head. I don't care. No one ever experiences anything else. This is what you've got to work with. This is what you've got to master. This is the chaos. This is the cause of all your heartache. This is the cause of all your problems. The image in the head and the talk in the head is filled with this thing called stories. We talked about the ego one, part of the why you should meditate thing. You fill it up with stories. You are this kind of a person. You are that kind of a person from this tribe, from this family. I am a noble victim, or I am a noble warrior, whatever. And this thing can literally be insulted. It can be attacked. And you feel it literally in your stomach, in your chest, in your heart. Your heartbeat starts going up because somebody said a word. Someone said a word to you. And because that word had the right sounds about your name and your tribe, it could have been a different name and a different tribe that you've been part of. In other words, it's not even a real thing. It's 100% circumstantial. You could have been different. But the fact that the words coincide with the stories you've put in your bag, called the ego bag, go watch the ego part. It's part 5 on the Why You Should Meditate series. You literally get a heart attack. You can literally die from somebody throwing words in your story bag. So the point is, rather than being moved around by the story bag and then its manifestations and the feeling, its manifestations in the image and the talk, you can literally separate yourself and watch these things happen, just like the weatherman. The weather, the chaos, that is you. That is your feelings. That is the images in the head and the talk in the head will continue to happen. It will not stop. But you can watch it. We know that we can watch it. We've all been in the zone before. We've all maybe watched a beautiful sunset and just kind of been one with the moment, been outside of ourselves, watched ourselves do something, right? That sense of intense concentration in combination with the relaxation, the equanimity, and the ability to sense very clearly, oh, the back of my ears is getting hot, my heart rate is going up, I must be angry, rather than rah, 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 you know? You can simply stop and check. It is just feelings, it is just image, it is just talk. And miraculously, you can actually separate yourself from it. This is leading yourself rather than managing the feelings, the image, and the talk. Rather than trying to manage and palliate and use topical, surface level type, perhaps going to watch, you know the type. They always ask you how you have so much time to, hey, Ike, how come you have a band and you run this business and you do this kind of thing and you also read a lot of philosophy books and you study physics and you're this and that? And I'm like, okay, I bet you watch Game of Thrones. You watched Game of Thrones, didn't you, sir? This person that's asking me. Yeah, I watched Game of Thrones. I watched Breaking Bad. I do this. The Super Bowl. And I drink beer and talk to these people. And I do, well, you're wasting your whole bunch of time doing nonsense. Part of which is geared towards managing feeling, image, and talk. TV is an anesthetic. It's a depressant. Same thing with alcohol. And same thing with talking nonsense with your stupid friends. Let me say it again. Talking nonsense with your stupid friends, drinking alcohol, watching TV. These things are all ways of managing your feeling, image, and talk. Putting a cold blanket on top of it so you don't notice it, so you can run away from it, so you can hide away from it, so you can continue to live your silly little lives. That's what we do. That's what we do. We've all been there. We all are prone to this. We don't make excuses over here. And we know it. You know it's true. That is not leadership. That is management. Exactly, D. Time. That's it. That's the whole game. That's the whole game. You want to lead the feelings, image, and talk by observation. And again, I keep on referring to the How to Meditate and Why You Meditate series. That's where we keep things very granular and practical as to, well, this is what you do and this is the capacity it'll give you. It will give you the capacity of concentration and sensory clarity and equanimity. Concentration and relaxation work hand in hand. If I say, hey, focus, you go, okay, let me focus. You relax in order to focus. And when you focus, you get more relaxed. And when you get more relaxed, you get more focused. It's a virtuous circle. It's a snowball. You master these capacities and so you can lead and then direct the inner towards the external goals. Remember, we don't want to fool ourselves. We know we want power. We know why it sounds good. Part of why it sounds good to find that inner self. Don't build on sand. Find the solid rock. All other ground is sinking sand. We know the solid rock is inside. We know that it gives us power, and that is why we're attracted to it. But we don't see the immediate effects, and we don't understand the differences really. We cannot understand the causal link between, if I live from the inside out, how I can begin to manifest all kinds of things. We hear woo-woo nonsense about it. Woo-woo nonsense about manifestation and the universe and the law of attraction, and we feel like, well, I feel like hitting the person in the head with a sledgehammer. That stuff keeps you asleep. It's just another way of managing. We got to be wise. We're not children anymore. It's too late for that. Shout out to Red Sings the Blues donation, my man. Donations. Shout out to everyone in the house. And thank you for stopping by, ladies and gentlemen. So we continue here to look about being a manager versus being a leader. You want to lead yourself. Fit, by the way, is our shorthand for feeling, image, and talk. This is the entirety of your subjective consciousness, the entirety of your graphical/non-graphical user interface. The graphical is in the image, the talk is the talk in your head, the feelings in the body are the feelings in the body. You have internal sensations which constitute emotions. You also have internal sensations which feel like instincts and intuitions, but they're located somewhere. In our meditation videos, which you should go and watch, right? We talk of how much of what, where, changing at what rate. How much of which particular sensation, where is it? How is it changing? Rather than say, oh, I just kind of feel out of touch, or I just feel sad. It's like, no, what does sad feel like? They're like 50 different flavors of sad. They're like 5 different flavors of anger, at least. And you will not know them until you're able to say, well, this is the type of anger whereby I feel numbness. This is the type of anger whereby I feel a tightness in my chest versus the heat in the back of my neck versus the heat in the back of my ear. This is the type of anger that makes my hair raise versus not. In other words, identifying right here in your body, not in the parking lot, not in Deepak Chopra's book, not in some bullshit fucking... All right, let me calm down. Right there with you, where you have responsibility and where you have agency, noticing these things so that you can create a separation from them, so you can create objectivity, so you can create the observer mode, so you can master it, and so that you can begin to do all kinds of miraculous things that manifest themselves in the external world. Not in some kind of woo-woo causal link, but in a causal link that will become very clear to you. So, directing these things towards the external goals. So management, as we said, is drugs. Management is other people, external rewards, and so on and so forth, okay? All that kind of stuff. Management is watching TV. Management is drinking beer and taking Paxil and Zoloft. And management is doing work-life balance, okay? I work from 9 to 5 and then I leave and then I do this. And they told me to go to the restaurant every 2 weeks. They told me that when I feel this way, I got to do that. I get shuffled here and I get shuffled there. No, that's management. Leadership and mastery is what we are after. Leadership and mastery only comes from the internal. Let me get a 1 in the chat now if we've now seen how management versus leadership correlates with internal versus external. When you live from the outside, you're just managing. You're managing yourself. You're taking things, the accolades, the rewards, what people say, other people's opinions, the drugs, other kinds of anesthesia, such as television, and this and that, and you're managing yourself. But when you go from the inside, when you go from the inside. You're leading yourself. This is the difference. And as the Red Sings the Blues says, leading is not easy. That's another reason why we don't do it, but we like to say it. In one of my videos titled Gentlemen, or was it just men? I think I said men. Shut up and show your work, right? In that video called Men, Shut Up and Show Your Work, I talked about why you should not talk about what you're going to do. Don't talk about it. And it's the same reasons why you should not be talking about kumbaya this and kumbaya that. Because it is a substitute, a watered down substitute to keep you asleep. It is a sleeping potion. So, simply put, when you talk about, oh, I'm going to do this, I'm going to start this LLC and blah, 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 and you're at this cocktail party talking a good game about what you're going to do, it creates a social reality. You start to get satisfied. People look at you like, oh, hey, yeah, I'm wrong. And we know how we react to external things. We cannot help the organism. It is going to get satisfied. The hunger is going to get quenched. Does that make sense? Don't talk about it, especially to other people. Don't even talk about it to yourself. Because when you talk about it to yourself, it goes into your memory. And you start to think that you are what you said. No, you're not what you said until you have actually put it into action. You're not it until you can master it from within and then put it into action. Because when you go out there and start telling people, okay, then you remember, oh yes, I was in the cocktail party and I said that thing and people said I was the man, right? Now the hunger gets numbed. Now, rather than pick up the telephone and call the Small Business Association tomorrow and start getting paperwork for starting that LLC, you're just going to chill because you spent all night last night at the bar talking about the LLC you're going to start. Shut up about it. Same thing with these kinds of things. Stop talking about inner peace and all this kind of stuff. No, just do it. You know what to do. You know where the access is. You're listening to my channel right now, and you can go to the playlist on meditation where it is simply laid out for you, and you can start doing it. And stop talking about it. Okay? Does it make sense when I say that management takes more energy and leadership is frictionless? Okay? You're not bargaining. Sorry for the typos. There is no negotiation involved. Management is, hey, come work for me. I'll give you a paycheck. Leadership is, hey, I will follow that man into the fires of hell. Can I get a 1 in the chat if this is clear? That basically we're talking about how we can, from the inside, create power in the external world. And basically, when we lead ourselves from within, there is no friction, there is no bargaining, there is no negotiation. Because we follow the leader. We do not follow the man. The manager gives us a paycheck. The manager gives us a reward. The manager gives us kudos. The manager does management stuff. Okay? What is the manager in this particular context? Game of Thrones. Other BS you're doing. The beer you're drinking. The idiot friends you're having conversations with. Stupid conversations, that is. That don't do anything. Okay? That's management. Leadership is frictionless. Leadership takes less energy. When you master yourself from within, when you lead yourself as opposed to managing yourself, you have this abundance of energy which you don't know where it came from. Trust me. This is the other side of the question. Because those same people that ask me, Ike, how do you do the band thing and do this thing and the other thing and that? And oh, you're over here talking on YouTube too. Number one, they're constantly, they watch all the crap. They talk all the crap. They listen to all the crap and they're drinking the beer and the this and the that. And they're not spending any time doing this thing I'm talking about. And it takes a lot of time and a lot of energy to do that crap they're doing. That's why they don't understand the source of energy. They cannot even fathom it. They think it's magic. And some people write books telling you it's magic. And then you don't believe, you go back to sleep. You go back to sleep. They tell you it's the secret, it's the law of attraction. You go back to sleep. No, it's none of that. It's work. And it's your damn fault if you're not doing it. No one else's fault. Simple. Doesn't mean you don't have to do it, but at least you know whose fault it is. You know exactly what these capacities are that you need to develop. You know. For the watchers of the Bleach anime, good one, D. Good one, good one, good one. Again, remember what we talked about. We started talking about the fact that we hear such phrases as live from the inside out, build your house on solid ground. We know immediately that the building of the house on solid ground is something internal, because the shifting sands and all the circumstantial sinking and wavering and changing is external, but that we can find within our core something that we can build. We know when we say live in the moment and so on and so forth, these things sound appealing to us. They're pointing to an internal thing. We know that these things sound good, but why don't we do it? Well, we don't do it because we know that we cannot delay gratification, because we're not looking for just the internal rewards, which we can simply see. I told you take 3 breaths. We did 3 breaths and you could immediately see the internal rewards, but that's not enough for us. No. We're human beings after all. We have evolved to have external power. There is an external world out there. We like to see immediate results. We want to see, well, but how is it going to make me money? How is it going to get me the girl? How is it going to make me do this, do whatever, right? Fine. I get it. It's all good. That's how we are. And we're not denying it in this particular talk. We're saying, yes, this is true. But let's make it explicit now and say part of the reason why is because we cannot see the immediate consequences and we cannot see the causal link. And I'm starting to draw some causal links for you and trying to show you, hey, internal is leadership, external is management, for example. We talk about the internal being able to make people more relaxed, bend them to your will, make them more comfortable. We're social creatures. Everything you want, someone else has. Aha. Yes, please like the video, ladies and gentlemen. And for those of you who are new, like, subscribe, hit the bell button, and hit all. Over here, we talk about being better and doing better with a very strong emphasis on doing, okay? If you're new here and you've not gotten the sense that we're all about doing, I'm sure you've gotten the sense that we're all about doing, okay? It's about doing. And things are not watered down. We go esoteric, exoteric, but keeping the eye on the ball, not making it academic and conceptual, making it sure that we can make sense of it. And it even makes more sense in the how and why you should meditate. That's where we really get down to brass tacks. Here we're giving some cognitive aid and comfort, motivation, persuasion, saying, hey, it's fine. This is why you don't do these things, even though you know it feels good to hear it. but these are the reasons why you don't do them. And here are some things about what it looks like, what the causal path is, the causal link, the causal chain, right? So you will have more energy when you live from the inside out. This is an external thing. It is 100% true. I can attest to it. Plus, also the logic follows. We already know, we can intuit it because we have minds, right? We already know that it is harder to manage. It is easier to lead. Even though let's externalize it. In other words, use the analogy and talk about following a leader does not take you bargaining with the leader. You don't have to negotiate with the leader. A leader is followed. It is not a manager. A manager you negotiate salary with. And so, no, a leader you will just follow to the pits of hell. It is frictionless. And you have all kinds of energy in that kind of a transaction. So hence, you can lead yourself. You lead yourself by living from the inside. How about time? Time is an external factor. Time is an internal thing. An external thing. And we know that mastering the moment is something that people talk about and we like to hear. It sounds good, right? Okay? Internal time is timeless. Does that make sense? It probably doesn't. Let me put it this way. And then I'll ask if it makes sense. The moment is all you ever have internally. Before I explain it, can I get a 1 in the chat if the sentence even makes sense? Can I get a 1? The moment, from your point of view of subjective consciousness, which is all how we live anyways, the moment is all you ever have. What does right now feel like? It's the moment. What was yesterday like? When you stopped, just stop right now and let's take 3 more breaths to center ourselves again. So, you know how we do it. We do 3 in, hold for 3, and then out. And when you breathe out, don't force it out. Just let the atmospheric pressure push on it like a balloon, okay? You push in, you feel it against the atmospheric pressure, and then the atmospheric pressure pushes back out, okay? So, in, hold, and then out. That's number 1. In, hold, and let the shoulders just relax. Let the chest relax. Let the diaphragm relax. Let it come out. It's breath number 2. And you don't have to count only to 3 when you do this by yourself, by the way. I like to count more to like 10. I like to take deep breaths, like and I like to hold it for a while. This brings us back to the moment. This moment is always this moment, is always this moment. You're not going to wait for it to feel like anything else. The future, tomorrow, yesterday, 10 years from now, whatever it is you may be waiting for, the right time, what does the right time feel like? It feels just like right now. The moment from within is all you ever have. Mastering the moment is mastering time. Mastering the moment removes that block of, what's that block? You know what that block is? That block is, how long will it take D, practitioner. You guys know that. You guys know this block, right? We all know it as kids. The trope in those comedies. Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Are we there yet? Yes, this is human being being a human being. How long will it take? How long does it take? When, how, but when, how long? That is a block to action. It is something to manage. It is a block. The moment is all you ever experience. Stop fooling yourself. When you live from the inside, you know. The question no longer makes any sense. You know what I'm saying, Eisen? Young Swift, you feel me? The question no longer makes any sense. It doesn't matter. How long is it going to, where are you trying to get to, Ike? What's your goal? Why do you have to do so much? Like, get out of my way, please. I'm living the moment to its maximum, squeezing the juice out of it. In pure ecstasy every moment. Because that's everything. There is no, oh, but then, in 10 years and then, that's management. That's foolishness. That's living externally. It does not actually get the results that you want. Again, remember, we're trying to say that when you live from the inside, you're actually more powerful. We sense that that's the case, but we don't know how. And I'm here to tell you, hey, let's just agree. We want power. Ha ha ha. We're all like, yeah. We went through the whole kind of uncomfortability of it. And I say, hey, don't worry. It's normal for you to think power is a bad thing, but that's just your dark side thinking. Forget about it. Because your logical mind knows that it's just a tool. Your phone needs power. Your computer needs power. You need power. That's why you eat. You need the ability to leverage things out there in the real world. You also need power over yourself. You need mastery in many different forms. Okay? So, we're showing that when you live from the inside out, you have infinitely more power. You have potential for exponential growth that you cannot even imagine. Way more energy, way more focus. And the time aspect is a key aspect because time is necessary for all things. Whoa, ho, ho, ho. It's the $50 Jonathan Barronville. He says, I'll catch the replay, but much love, brother. Much love to you, Jonathan. Thank you, thank you, thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you. So, when you start living with the recognition of the truth that the moment is all you ever experience, we just saw it right now. Hey, tomorrow you wake up, guess what it's going to feel like? It's going to feel like just like right now. There is no difference. When you start grabbing a hold of the moment, how do you grab a hold of it? You create separation from it. The same way you create separation between feeling in the body, image in the head, and talk in the head, you create separation between all the movements, right? There is an interesting kind of physics lesson behind what I'm saying, but maybe we'll make a special Patreon video for that. And by the way, we have a Patreon, okay? Please join the Patreon. And we're going to be having a Discord group for the Patreon whereby you will be able to ask your questions as to, well, these are the kinds of questions I want answered. These are the kind of research I would like to see. Perhaps little, that way you can influence the direction of the show. I'll also have special little kinds of videos for the Patreon only. Perhaps this whole kind of physics lesson that I'm saying that is implicit with this whole time thing and the movement thing and the heat exchange thing and why it's really true beyond your experience. thing. And also we can organize that Silicon Valley meditation retreat that practitioner was suggesting. Things of that nature, right? So go to the Patreon. Throw $5 in the pot, $5 a month. You can afford that. What are you paying for? How many subscriptions do you have? How many subscriptions do you have? All kinds of subscriptions, right? Drop $5 in the pot. We can do amazing things. Thank you. And yes, I will drop the link right now to the Patreon. And I would kindly ask that you go there. And we will be setting up, again, it's just a new Patreon right now, but we'll be setting up Discord. Different levels, ability to influence the show, people having power and so on and so forth. The young, the new, you guys are this channel is very new, as you guys already know, right? I mean, we started this in September. You guys are the new ones. You guys are going to have all the power. And you guys are going to be able to say, yeah, I was there when blah, blah, blah. So we want to create a community, be able to have you guys and gals influence the directions. Want to be able to organize ourselves in that particular manner. So I'm getting some people to do it. Okay? Because as you guys know, I'm not a manager. I'm not an accountant. I'm not a CEO type. I'm a creative, crazy man. So I've gotten some people. They're working behind the scenes to help me do this kind of organizational stuff. The people who do my regular organizational stuff, they're going to come over and do my organizational stuff in this channel as well. But let me go ahead and grab the link. I travel by night and I travel by day. Feel the breeze, I feel the call. And I see the gravel and the grass by the way. I hear birds and their mating call. The toll on the road is a small price to pay. A small price to pay for the saving of the race. As a matter of fact, let me just go directly to Patreon and grab the link that way. So I say, people, what you waiting for? Everybody now. I travel by night and I travel by day. Feel the breeze, I feel the call. And I see the gravel and the grass by the way. Hear birds and their mating call. The toll on the road is a small price to pay. A small price to pay for the saving of the race. And so I say, people, what you waiting for? Sha-na-na-na-no. Know what I'm saying? So, yes. Please go over there, check it out. Drop $5, $2, $1. In other words, there is it's no set kind of program. Just put something in the pot. That way we can begin to see the interest. And we can kind of see how much focus Prometheus Engineering should be putting into this particular endeavor. So we can make things happen. We can meet in Denver in front of a roaring fireplace with a snifter of some good cognac, and we discuss in person how we mastered our subjective consciousness in the last year. How does that sound? Young Swift, you're too young to drink, but you can be there. You can be there. So, how long would it take is a block? How long would it take is an obstacle? How long would it take is looking externally? How long will it take is living from the outside? Internally, you master time and you're able to do things exponentially quicker. And you have more energy than people think. And you break out of the matrix of work-life balance. You break out of all kinds of matrices. I talked about the work-life balance matrix. And I said, hey, imagine the farmer. back in the 18th century, 15th century, whatever. Imagine your ancestors and back in Africa or wherever you're from, right? What is work-life balance to them? That's BS. They live with their work and for their work, and they are and they breathe and they live with the soil, or either a blacksmith or a leather person or a shepherd. What is work-life balance? Work-life balance is a trick. And I'm not into telling you that somebody tricked you. We all get tricked by circumstances. It's all I'm saying. Because all that, oh, they crap is just another excuse. Oh, yeah. This person's holding them back. That person is holding them back. The white man's holding me back. Shout out to O'Shea. I don't believe in talking like that. I don't even care whether it's true or not. It doesn't get anything done. And over here, I'm about getting things done. I don't care. I don't care who put in your head that there is work-life balance. Break out of it. The moment is all you have. You master your subjective consciousness. You master time. You master the moment. You break out of all kinds of matrices. And you actually, in a very counterintuitive way, start manifesting all kinds of external things that people don't know how you did. Get the picture? Because we want power. Okay? Shout out, shout out, shout out. Thank you very much for the super chat, Mr. Brian Okuku. Ha 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 ha. Denver is green. Bring the swishers. So, the mastering time will remove the roadblock that we're talking about. Okay? And it will also remove the waiting, because you're no longer waiting for anything. You're not waiting for anything. The moment is the beginning, the middle, the end. It's the entire circle. We literally can experience it. We did it twice already in this particular thing. And also you can intuit it that right now is what time always feels like. Tomorrow that you're waiting for, snap yourself to tomorrow. What is it going to feel like? It's going to feel like right now. Last week, last year. What did it feel like? It feels like right now. What are you waiting for then? Why are you living in external time? It causes friction. It causes all kinds of heartache and waste, loss of energy. Move it out the way. Move all the other management out of the way. Create space for leadership and mastery. That's all we're saying. That is all we are saying. So, moving on fairly quickly, we mentioned this already, so we'll just skim through it. Again, we're talking about how living from the outside or from the inside out actually gives us this power. Trying to create some kind of a cognitive understanding, conceptual understanding of the cause and effect link, rather than talk about the law of attraction and the oneness with the universe and all that BS, which is just another way to put you back to sleep. And it's not anybody doing it to you. Again, remember, I don't talk about, some kind of plot for somebody. It's like, no, we're all just victims of circumstance. The person who wrote that book talking about the law of attraction is also a victim of circumstance. Looking for blame is just another way to, you're just trying to run back into the bedroom and sleep. No, come out. No sleeping. No sleeping. So, people will notice and people will yield to your will. I'm using some kind of words that may be like, don't be, but no, trust me, we want power. We know that. If you think you're going to use power for bad, you need to go check with yourself then, right? If power sounds to you like a bad thing, you're letting a certain side of yourself dominate you. You get what I'm saying? Because again, when you live from the inside out, it's not going to be that question of, power, but power, it kind of sounds bad. It's like, no, when you live from the inside out, what is the difference between you and the universe, man? I mean, we really know there is no difference, man. Like, I mean, come on. Like, you are everything. Everything is you. You're part of it all. It's all power. And when you go inside and you just live in accordance with the core, all these questions about, I don't want power, and then it doesn't even make any sense anymore. It just doesn't make any sense anymore. Another little bit of matrix you need to break out of, right? So, you relax others, thereby you persuade others. Parapil, which should be people, okay? I need to have somebody check these things for me. Will be comfortable. I'm going to create my own Ike spelling thing. Everything that we want, someone else has. We are social beings in the marketplace of ideas, marketplace of goods, services, marketplace of influence, marketplace of love, even affection, comfort, whatever it may be. We are social creatures. We're no islands. Everything that we want, someone else has. And the fact that when we master our internal, it affects the external, and we're able to get what we want more easily, as we demonstrated in that room, right? When you're the most comfortable person in the room, you can calm people down. When people are calm, they're more amenable to be persuaded by you. They will go with your program. They will follow because you are leading yourself from within. It is not a mystery. It is not some kind of BS woo-woo stuff. It is very intuitive. People actually perceive this in you. Or shall we say, conversely, they can perceive the opposite. They can perceive when you're agitated, unsettled, and not calm in the inside. Can I get a 1 in the chat if you know that people can perceive when you are not living from the inside, when you're not comfortable in the inside, you're not settled in the inside, you cannot find a rock to dwell in the inside, when you cannot take that deep breath and experience that moment from the inside. People can sense that too. Obviously, they can sense the opposite. And when they sense the opposite, they flow with you. And given the fact that we're social creatures and everything that we want someone else has, all kinds of external things start to happen because you are moving it from the inside out. Yes. The internal is an asset. It is the only asset that you will have forever. How are we doing on time? I've been having too much fun with this one. Can you guys tell I'm having fun? This is me in my natural state. My natural state is a bow tie and shirt studs kind of time where we talk very strictly about how we need to take action. Take that hill, man. Yes, this is my natural state, and I have a blast. So, anyone who's new, don't take it personally. Don't take that harshness personally. It literally is me having a good time. You know what I mean, right? Young Swift knows. Indeed. K Polymath says too, we have a troll amongst us. Good times. I think I know who that is too. I think I know exactly who that is. I think you owe us some pounds, okay? Or the pound sterling. You haven't paid your dues yet, K Polymath. So, So, as we continue to have fun but not hold you for too long, let's go ahead and begin to wrap this one up, ladies and gentlemen. We're saying that the internal is an asset that you always have, and the only one that you have forever. In other words, you can have external things. They can bring in income. They can appreciate in value, if you will. But there is nothing that you literally are born with and you die with that never leaves you, other than your subjective consciousness. Can I get a 1 in the chat, ladies and gentlemen, if this aspect of how the internal helps to manifest things in the external world, how the internal is the biggest asset, the biggest lever, the biggest fulcrum from which we can use the lever to push the external world. You have this thing right now. Until you're 80, you're still going to have it. Your stock in Apple or your 401k or whatever else may be may fall away, but this is the only thing that you will have forever. It never goes away. It compounds upon itself. It builds more and more potential. We talked about the fact that you are able to master time with it because the moment is all you have. Therefore, questions ask, well, how long does it take? I want to wait for this. There is no longer waiting. There is no work-life balance. There is no confusion as to what it is you're doing anymore within time because you master time from the inside out. Okay? And that continues to compound and grow, compounds internal and external passive income. It just gives you stuff. You can never get rid of it. It is your biggest asset. Why don't you go and cultivate it? Why don't you go and master it? It indeed is the source of everything. Everything exponential, everything that explodes in value, everything that is real. Group hug. Salute to man of tomorrow in the house. So, as we continue towards the end of this, okay, as we wrap this up, ladies and gentlemen, this is a general skill. In other words, when you master your subjective consciousness, when you develop this capacities of concentration, young Swift, do you need concentration to play basketball? To shoot those free throws? Yes. Do you need concentration to play chess? Do you need concentration and equanimity, that sense of relaxation and being in the zone, in order to make sound decisions in business, in relationships? Yes. You're a sniper in the military. Do you need concentration and relaxation simultaneously in order to do your work? Yes. Is there anything that your subjective consciousness and its mastery is not applicable to? No. Remember, we're asking the question, why don't we go inward? We know that it sounds good. We also know that when we do a little bit of the practice, we know that there's peace in there. But we are unable to find the immediate power because we're motivated by power. And I say, yes, I get it. So we're trying to talk about how we can demonstrate how we get that power from the inside, how we can influence people by mastering ourselves, how we can influence time by living in the moment, how we can build this great asset, which is applicable to everything, by going inside. how it's a massive lever. It's a solid rock. It's not the shifting sand, not the sinking sand, not ephemeral, doesn't change, doesn't come today and leave tomorrow. How we don't have to manage it. How it's not like, drinking beer and taking drugs and controlling and blah, 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 all this kind of external stuff. No. We go in there. We face the feelings in the body. We face the image in the head and the talk in the head. We face our subjective consciousness. We lead it. We don't manage it. We don't manage it with TV. We don't manage it with beer. We don't manage it with Zoloft. We don't manage it with accolades. We don't manage it with social media. We don't do that. We master and we lead. And it is miraculous, the amount of power, the amount of friction that it removes. It's like you've been driving with your handbrakes up. These days, the handbrakes in cars are a little different, right? Especially the new modern high-end cars. But we all know what it's like, right? To drive with your handbrakes up. That's how it's like, or even worse, when you're living externally. All kinds of things need to be managed. All kinds of things like time and other people, and you're trying to manage yourself. You're trying to put palliatives in, you're trying to anesthetize yourself. You're trying to control and manage yourself. But when you go from within and master, bam, it's like dropping down that handbrake and you go. All the friction is gone. All the question of how long does it take. All the question of the time. All the question of not being able to live in the moment. All the question of not being able to influence others because you are not yourself under control. All the question about not being able to lead because you cannot lead yourself. All that is gone. This is how the power works. I felt the need to make this particular video because I know that we're motivated by power. I have a whole series on how to meditate and why you should meditate. The why series talks about each particular capacity: concentration, sensory clarity, equanimity, space for freedom, mastering the ego. The how goes through all the different ways in which you can meditate, using the feelings in the body, the image in the head, the talk in the head. You can use the breathing, you can use the ear, you can use the external senses like the eyes. You can use internal visions. But they're all simple ways of using in a formal way these capacities. You want to develop your biceps, you use the biceps formally. You want to develop concentration within the space of your subjective consciousness, you use concentration formally within the space of subjective consciousness. Woo! It's not a mystery. It's not crazy. It's not something that you need to go up to the mountains and chant to some idiot about. No, it is literally this simple, and it has infinite amounts of power. Now, you know what you're not doing. You know who is stopping you. It's you. You're the one that's not healthy. You're the one that's not hydrated. You're the one that's not breathing. You're the one that's not relaxed. You're the one that's stressed out. No one is doing this to you. It is you. It is me. That's it. Generosity. Something that I like to preach and practice about. Does anyone know the psychological means by which generosity actually helps you get more? Does anyone know that? Is this something that is absolutely clear to us? Yes, K Polymath, sensory clarity and equanimity is how to win in life. It literally is how to win in life. It is, and I lay it all out. Look, I did not invent this stuff, okay? So, it's not like. But I cut off all the bullshit. I cut off all the excuses. I cut off all the woo-woo language. I lay it out so that you can look. Hey, look. Don't go back to sleep. Look. Look. Life is serious. And by that, I don't mean it's not fun. I mean it's serious fun. And you don't know how much fun you're missing living externally. You don't know how much fun you're missing to the degree to which you live externally.
There's so much fun to be had, so much magic to be created, so much exponential growth, so much power when you go in there. Like all the mythologies and all the scriptures and all the holy books tell you to do, right? But over here, we put it down in language, which you can understand, concepts that you can understand, everyday, simple. You don't even have to study anything. Regular language, concentration, sensory clarity, equanimity, feeling in the body, image in the head, talk in the head. Use them formally, practice them. You develop these capacities. You create the separation, the observer effect, thereby mastering these things. Very simple. So, regardless of who you give it to, Rocky, regardless of who you give it to, I'm talking about internally, what it does to you. Do you know what generosity does to you internally? Do you know what throwing money, do you know what mastery of money does? It removes all kinds of emotional hangups you have about money. Imagine you went to Starbucks, okay? You go there and there's a 6-foot line on the ground, right? 6 feet apart, blah, blah, blah. All the chairs are gone now. We can't sit at Starbucks no more. It's very sad. You go there. You buy a $5 cup of coffee. Imagine leaving a $20 tip. The amount of money that makes you a little bit uncomfortable is going to be different from different people. I know MOT is in the house here. For MOT, it's probably a $200 tip that is probably going to make him a little shaky. Who knows? MOT is a big shot, maybe even more than that. Imagine leaving that amount of money, let's just make it a $5 cup of coffee and leaving a $20 tip. That uncomfortable feeling that you have represents money mastering you. Can I get a 1 in the chat? If you guys can see the line here, at least, that I'm drawing. If you can get intuitively what I am saying, that when you are afraid to leave $20, $20 is mastering you. You're not the master of $20 anymore. This is how the world of internal things works. What do you do then? You break that $20. You say, hey, $20, you're no boss of me. Here you go, barista. Do you know the things, the kinds of risk that you'll now be willing to take? The kinds of things, let me use a word that I don't kind of like. I was going to say the abundance or, the scarcity mindset. You said the lack mentality, all that kind of stuff, the bromides, the cliches. But by the way, I've not forgotten you, Snuggles. Thank you very much. The $5 monarch. He shall be president. Says, I came up from the cavern to sound coming from the mountains from up high. You need to learn how to use punctuation, Snuggles. To listen to what is being bestowed to the people. Pardon the tardiness. Yes, you can always catch, for sure, the replay. So, that mindset of scarcity. But again, people just say these kinds of cliches like scarcity mindset, abundance mindset. But we need to look at it. We need to see quite clearly how that $20 mastered us right there at the counter of Starbucks. We were mastered by $20. How do you expect to make $20,000 a month? How do you expect Oh my God, to make $200,000 a month. Hey, how do you expect to do that when you're scared of $20? Let's create analogies. Gentlemen out there, when you have a scarcity mindset, can you get her number? Of course, maybe you could put a gun to her head and ask her for her number. That's not what I'm talking about. Will you attract her number? Or is it the Instagram that they give you these days? Whatever they're giving you people these days out there. Gentlemen out there, when you have this scarcity, when the idea of her has mastered you, you don't get anything that way. This thing applies everywhere. In sales, we call it commission breath. When you're desperate for the sale, when the sale has mastered you, when you have that fear, that kind of smallness, when you have not demonstrated mastery over the object of your want, you don't get it. Need I quote the scripture again? Unto those whom have more shall be given, and they shall have in abundance. And those who do not have, the little that they do have will be taken away. This is true of gravity as well. I mean, it's true of many natural systems, okay? The bigger planets will continue to attract all the debris into their gravitational well. The little guys will get all the little things that stuck to them sucked away. You can use that kind of picture as well. Opportunities will go to people whom have demonstrated mastery. People will go to MOT and say, hey, MOT, you want to invest in this? Hey, MOT, you want to be the first to buy into my company? Hey, MOT, you want to do this? You want to do that? Because he has demonstrated mastery. People will come to someone who has established an engineering company and say, hey, Ike, here's this job. It's a nice $500 an hour job. Ike can turn around and give that job to someone else and pay them $50 an hour. Another engineer. Why did the client not go to young engineer, Mr. Young Swift in this case? Why didn't they go to him and say, hey, Young Swift, here's $500 an hour? They won't. Because Young Swift has not demonstrated mastery. Point is, whatever you don't demonstrate mastery over from the internal, you will not get. Whether it be her number, whether it be a loan, whether it be opportunities, and whether it be money. Your ability to go out there and get money, your ability to know that you deserve it, your ability to know that you can take the risks is directly related to not letting that $20 master you at the counter of Starbucks. That's why generosity. That's the trick. That is the trick, ladies and gentlemen. Ha ha ha. You're going to remove the fear of taking risks, okay? You're going to master that fear, okay? Mastering the chaos within also, this is supposed to be external, also will acclimate you to the external chaos. The world out there is external chaos. When you look inside, you see the internal chaos, the weather pattern of feelings, okay? Yeah, so one day it's elation and it feels this way. There's electricity vibrating from the left side of your body to the right side of your body. And the other day it's a certain kind of numbness. And the third day it's you feel some kind of anxiety for whatever reason. It feels like pits in your stomach, butterflies in your stomach. Next day, you're angry for whatever reason. You woke up and you just creak in your back or creak in your neck. You didn't loosen it up as a result. And also someone cut you off on the freeway. Next thing, you're screaming at Karen from HR. When you go in and you're able to create Let's take a deep breath. And as you breathe, I want you to feel your body. Feel the chest expand. Feel the sensations in the chest. Some of them are a result of the things that you've felt all through the day. Let them relax as you let the out breath out. Feel the weather, the chaos, the clouds, the cosmos within. Close your eyes as you breathe in and watch the weather, the clouds, the cosmos of your thoughts just happening, erupting of its own accord. You're dreaming right now, thinking 1,000 thoughts. Maybe there's a song playing in your head if you listen close enough. All kinds of things. Feel the humming of your ear, that natural sound your ear has. Feel the cataclysmic chaos of you. It's magnificent, it's brilliant, it's beautiful. When you go in there and you master that, the chaos of the external world becomes nothing. You know to expect chaos. There is a pretend order in the external world. You know why? Because we build roads in straight lines, right? We put the road over here at an intersection of 90 degrees, and we give it addresses, and we plant little trees. Does anyone know what I'm saying when I say that the internal world is full of chaos and it's a great training ground, and that the external world is chaotic, but we put grids to make it look organized? But really it's chaos. And to be a real master of the chaos, you master the chaos inside. It's the best training ground there is. I just demonstrated. We all just experienced when we watch the cardiovascular system, the blood vessels, the conglomeration and configurations and combinations of sensations inside that form the emotions, combined with the images and the talk in the head that reinforce these feelings, and then the external perceptions that go in and feed this, and in combination with what we have as our ego, which is a collection of stories which we've put in a bag. This whole thing, this chaos that you can observe by mastering your subjective consciousness, is a great training ground for mastering the chaos which is outside. Because the outside is chaos. Don't be fooled by the freeways and the exits and the trees and the Krogers or Safeway or Albertsons. It really is the cosmos out there, chaos out there. When you master it within, you can master the outside, and you can take advantage, just like the surfer takes advantage of that wave and does all kinds of powerful things with it. You can ride chaos, okay? You can ride the chaos, ladies and gentlemen. So let us remember Maslow, and we're going to end with this. And thank you, ladies and gentlemen, one more time. Again, please go ahead and join the Patreon. We're building that out. We're building it. We're going to create a Discord server. We're going to try to organize ourselves out here. We've been doing this now for a few months, and we're going to try to make sure that we can begin to get you guys to chime in, get you guys to have some control, okay? And then spread out a little bit, right? Ride the chaos. Exactly, Chaos Rain. And yes, I know, Chaos Rain. I've just been super busy and things are super crazy because I'm going to Africa on Thursday. I'll be there for a month. Ghana, Nigeria, maybe Kenya if I'm not tired of taking corona tests. But I'll be there for a month. So we'll talk though. Things have just been crazy. But please go check the Patreon, ladies and gentlemen. Put $1 in the bucket, $1 a month. You can afford it. I know you can afford it. I know you can afford it, practitioner. Nicer. Hey, nicer. You can afford $5 a month. How about 10? Ebola. Yeah, we'll be good though. We're gonna have a good time over there. Remember Maslow, and remember our conversation about master morality and slave morality, whereby master morality was about mastering of the external world, and slave morality, provocatively named, is about mastery of the internal world. Simply put, remember the Old Testament? Remember King David? Remember how he was a man of action, a warrior, a man of conquest and concubines, a man whose reward was here on earth, a man bringing reward right here. Talk about protection and provision, right? That's the mastery of the external world. And then flip it over, the New Testament. Now it's blessed are the meek, and it's not about the law, it's about what's in your heart, it's about God in your heart, it's about the Holy Spirit. Things became spiritual. In other words, remember the word for spirit, right? Spirit means consciousness. Things became consciousness focused. And in order to get full mastery, in order to get to the top of Maslow's hierarchy of needs, you need to master the self. In order to be self-actualized, you need to master the spirit. First of all, you got to make that big sword, okay, which is the bottom here. You master the external environment. You get the food. You have your physiological needs, food, water. You need safety, so on and so forth. Create, I will make you a father of nations, said Jehovah to Abraham. All that kind of stuff. But then guess what? You need to get to the point where you then sheathe the sword and turn the other cheek. Do you turn the other cheek from a position of strength or from a position of weakness? What do you guys say? Is it strength or weakness? Do you turn the other cheek from a position of strength or a position of weakness? What do you think? The mastery of the bottom half, the mastery of the external world, okay? That needs to be done, and that's always done. These things are always going on concurrently. It's not a linear process whereby, oh, I got to do number 1, and then I go to number 2, and then go to number 3, and then go to number 4, and then, no. All things go together. So go watch the Mastery of Subjective Consciousness, the meditation series, and begin to master this top part, while also, as we have demonstrated here, it gives you all this external power. It gives you the power over time. It gives you the power to influence people. It gives you the power to lead yourself rather than manage yourself. It removes all the friction from the management type stuff. You master the top level from a position of strength, therefore. You sheathe the sword and you turn the other cheek because you're just so badass. That's the idea. You know, put in very simple terms, right? And hopefully all this makes some kind of sense. What happened, D? She's like, oh shit. Bam. Needing a man. Well, I'm glad you're a good student, practitioner. Oh, gotcha, D. I'm glad you're a good student. And you know I didn't lie. You know I ain't lying. You know I ain't lying. Over here, we live in the real world. We face real circumstances. And we deal with them accordingly. So maybe we'll have a seminar in one of our meetups after we get this whole Patreon thing down. It's going to be called Needing a Man. But thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. for joining me this Monday. As you may have recognized, this is a Monday, not our usual time. Tomorrow I'll be doing my show with Dr. Thunder. It's called Getting Ish Done with Dr. Thunder. This is the second episode. You guys know Dr. Thunder. He's a fixture over here. He's one of our people. He's a PhD. And we will be talking about managing people. Okay? Not leading. Leadership cannot be taught. Anything can be improved upon, but leadership is more of this kind of an innate thing, something you have to tap inside from within and so on and so forth. You either have it or not. But how to manage people? First of all, demarcating the difference between leadership and management. Knowing that perhaps if you're a good leader doesn't necessarily mean you're a good manager. I'm not a very good manager, for example. It's something I could work on it. Relatively speaking, personality-wise also, I'm that leader type, right? I'm not a manager. I'm not a CEO, right? I'm a leader, creative, entrepreneur, start shit. Let's go. Rah! Right? That kind of stuff. But we're going to talk about how to manage, because regardless of what our natural talents may be, relatively speaking, we're going to need to know how to manage, especially in these times whereby we don't have the advantage, for the most part, of being together, where we can get the visual and the auditory and the synesthetic, or is it kinesthetic, kind of feel to manage people, where we have to manage people remotely. Okay, how do we manage an artist type, a creative type, versus an accountant type? How do we manage the type that's in between, the engineer? See, the engineer has bounded creativity. His solutions have to work in time and in physics, right? His boundaries are physics and the project constraints, such as the budget and the timeline of the project. How do we manage the different kinds? Obviously, you want to give the unbounded creative type all kinds of leeway and freedom. You want to give the accountant type lots of rules. You don't want a creative accountant, ladies and gentlemen. That's not where you want the creativity to be, okay? People end up in trouble when they do creative accounting, okay? How about the engineer type? You can give him stuff and he can be creative and you can tell him where the boundaries are. Yes, the engineers are the best. But I'm biased. I am biased. In other words, you can have a creative type that can keep their creativity bounded based on constraints, because it has to work in reality and it has to work within project timeline and budgetary constraints and so on and so forth. You manage that guy differently from how you manage the accountant type. You manage the accountant type very differently from how you manage the creative type, okay? You don't try to tell the creative type when he's doing his whole idea thing. You don't tell him, hey, stop there. How about this? No, you just let him put all kinds of crap on the table, and then it's on you to go back, sift through the crap, and find the gems, okay? The creative type, you just let him throw up. Let him throw up all over the place. He's going to be going way left after he doesn't even know what's good versus what's bad. This is no shade on them. They're great. You cannot come up with the ideas they come up with. They're coming up with 10,000 ideas a minute. Don't stop them. Don't try to direct them or funnel them. Just open up a blank sheet, let them throw up all over it. You go back there with your brush and you do the archaeological dig. You pick out the gems. That's how you get value out of the creative type. The accountant type, anyways, point being, we are doing the show tomorrow with Dr. Thunder, Getting Ish Done, and we're going to be talking about managing people. Managing folk. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of the broadcast. And remember, what was the point of today's broadcast? We talk about living from within. We're talking about finding your center, your core. We talk about living in the moment. We know that this feels good to hear. We know that it points towards the inner life. We know that in there can be found peace. But guess what? We also know that this can be a source of power. But we don't go there because we cannot immediately see the external effects of going in there. We don't immediately see the external power, right? We don't immediately see the causal links between how we act in there, how we can control ourselves in there, how we can master our subjective consciousness, and the power that we can have. We do not immediately see that, so we don't go there. So we wanted to tell ourselves why we don't go there and give ourselves some inkling as to how this works, how we can master time, how we can lead ourselves rather than manage ourselves, how we can take the friction out of the management process and simply lead, how we can get exponential growth and ride the chaos as a result of mastering the chaos within, how we can master the top of Maslow's hierarchy of needs by mastering ourselves, the internal. The internal. All right. So, I'm going to end it with congratulations. Yes. I did this one on Bijou Noir's channel a couple of days ago. And I usually don't do it on this channel, right? I do other ones. But this one, you guys may know me for. It was one of the first, it's one I have a video on. And I'm going to do it live. Fuck, we'll do it live. We'll do it live. We'll do it live. You guys remember that video? Do you guys remember that video? Shout out to Chaos Rain in the house. Salute, brother. The Bill O'Reilly video. We'll do it live. We need moja in our life. Tell them no more soja in our life. Give them the peace and no more war in our life. So far in our life, I say put away coca in our life. Open the marijuana jar in our life. The pain and the strife we erase and we wipe. The suffering disease we replace with the peace. For the lonely and the cold, we fire up the coal. For the rebels staying bold, let their stories be told. Come make we burn chalice and sip wine to celebrate the ital bliss. I annihilate the thorny vines and dwell within the highest grace. I annihilate with the will and the word, and I say that both deserve the congratulations. Ha. Now whether you're black or white, or whether you're purple, red or brown, calling our soldiers, whether you live in the country, not the town, soon as we open, we eyes up, wise up and rise up. That's the verse of Pato Bantan that I'm doing. We featured him on that song, but since he's not here, I'm going to do his verse. Whether you're black or white, or whether you're purple, red or brown, calling our soldiers, whether you live in the country, not the town, soon as we open, we eyes up, wise up and rise up. Babylon, we fall down. The moja in our life, love and light in our life, to find night in our life, we take it to a higher height, with the healing of the herb and the chanting of the word. Yes, the truth must be heard by the people all over the world. Make we burn chalice and sip wine to celebrate the ital bliss. I annihilate the thorny vines and dwell within the highest grace. I annihilate with the will and the word, and I say that both deserve the congratulations. And then the third verse was me and Pato going back and forth before we go into the... Yes, I'm doing the singing and the commentary as well, ladies and gentlemen, because that's how we roll over here. We need no stress in our life. Tell them no more brokenness in our life. Let the children make progress in our life. More checks in our life. Put in more hands for more decks in our life. From the former to the next in our life. Kaya that we churn. Fire that we burn. As we patiently await, the Messiah will return. So hear the trumpet sound and the ringing of the gong. The singing is profound like the beating of the drum. We need more stress. We need more fun in our life. The sensei have born in our life, and the wicked have run out of our life. We need your love in our life, like a blessing from above in our life. Meditate and listen to the higher voice. Congratulate life. We celebrate people. We motivate, regardless of your color or your race. We comfy, elevate the pace. Progress we embrace. More blessings and grace. It's never too late. No, no. In the belly of the beast, seeking to reach the mountain peaks. Yes, I. So let us roll another spliff, and now our spirits shall lift. Come make we burn chalice and sip wine to celebrate the ital bliss. I annihilate the thorny vines and dwell within the highest grace. I annihilate with the will and the word, and I say that both deserve the congratulations. Brothers and sisters, I say, come make we burn chalice and sip wine to celebrate the ital bliss. I annihilate the thorny vines and dwell within the highest grace. I annihilate with the will and the word, and I say that both deserve the congratulations.
On the shore, relentless in the war, the legions in our hearts, shed waters in our balls, the spirit and the flesh, the emotions that arrest, the cerebral will contest, propelling the unrest. Preachers and bandits with means underhanded, the teachers pedantic and lack understanding. So sweep out the sand with the broom in your hand. Stand up, make we burn Babylon. Guess I can give the world to you, but the falling of the curtain is for certain. Be careful where you're lurking, demon searching. The spirit and the women fight the battle within. Cause I can give the world to you, but the falling of the curtain is for certain. Be careful where you're lurking, demon searching. The spirit and the women fight the battle within. With the semblance of a blaze, with gratitude and rage, we touch another page with delirious delight, impervious to light. This vitality and might encourages the flight. Preachers and bandits with means underhanded, the teachers pedantic and lack understanding. So sweep out the sand with the broom in your hand. Stand up, make we burn Babylon. Guess I can give the world to you, but the falling of the curtain is for certain. Be careful where you're lurking, demon searching. The spirit and the women fight the battle within. Guess I can give the world to you, but the falling of the curtain is for certain. Be careful where you're lurking, demon searching. The spirit and the women fight the battle within. But the falling of the curtain is for certain. Be careful where you're lurking, demon searching. The spirit and the women fight the battle within. Cause I can give the world to you, but the falling of the curtain is for certain. Be careful where you're lurking, demon searching. The spirit and the women fight the battle within. In the enough iniquity. Vicinity no pretty, calamity fi hit we any moment. What a pity. Tomorrow never certain. What dwells behind the curtain? The face of evil smirking with that shifty eyes averting. It's not a steady bubble that either pop or topple. Many will fall and stumble. Let the dozers gather rubble. From LA to Colorado, Guinea to Burkina Faso. Cannons could reach the towers and the troops will storm the castle. I say, run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. So run, run, come, make we get it. Calling all your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. I say, run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. Lord, run, run, come, make we get it. Calling all your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. With the rubble steady rising and hearts are compromising. Conditions here are stifling, making evil appetizing. The fists are steady forming and countenance is falling. Defenses are withdrawing, possibilities are falling. In these circumstances, evil will make advances. Pick up your sword and lances and be sure to take your stances. Victory is never promised, the battle is upon us. Gather the brave and honest and the righteous in your corners. Go. Run, 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 make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. So run, run, come, make we get it. Calling out your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. I say, run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. Lord, run, come, come, make we get it. Calling out your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. So run, run, come, make we get it. Calling out your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. I say, run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. Lord, run, come, come, make we get it. Calling out your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. Run for the hills, let the will lead the mind. For living is the thrill with the doubt left behind. Amidst all the wreckage, there is beauty to behold. We are fearless and intrepid from the depths of our soul. The hands of the steady cleave the rose from the thorn. The sweat of the weary brings us close to the dawn. The motion of the wheel brings the light to the mind. Be aligned, it's divine. Run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. So run, run, come, make we get it. Calling on your daughters and your sons, they come forget it. I say, run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. Lord, run, come, come, make we get it. Calling on your daughters and your sons, they come forget it. Run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. So run, run, come, make we get it. Calling out your daughters and your sons, we come forget it. Run, run, come, make we get it. Because the peace that is bestowed upon the meek is overrated. Lord, run, come, come, make we get it.